Hi everybody. I decided to create this posture class because I realized that so many of the problems that people wind up having in their body have a lot to do with how you stand, how you move, how you sit. Over your years, what becomes the primary pattern in your posture that eventually is what starts to cause you problems. And so very often I explain to people the posture begins when you're little. So you're watching your mother, your father, the people that are caring for you. And you, as you're developing, as you're walking, as you're growing, you're following them. I remember when my daughter was little and I would take her to kindergarten or nursery school and I would see these little boys walking in like this, like old men, and I would look at the fathers and I go, wow, so these little kids are already taking on the posture of daddy, or the same goes for whatever the posture of the mother. And so I realized that the responsibility of developing healthy posture in your kids has a lot to do with how you approach your own body. And very often posture patterns don't start bothering you until you're much older, and then all of a sudden, your body's calcified into a position that you've been handling, that you've been in your whole life, and all of a sudden you can't move. All these years you were moving and nothing hurt and everything was fine, and you didn't know that you could have much more range of motion. Because who cares? As long as you were living and without pain, you're fine, okay? And so part of what I've noticed is that when people come to me very often, and they've already been to lots of other people, and they've already been told all kinds of stuff about, that right hip is too far back, and that right shoulder is pulled back and it's up, and the other shoulder's rounded forward. And that's the problem. That's why your neck is restricted and why you have neck pain. Or someone will have a hip problem. They'll go, oh yeah, I already know that my right hip is rotated backward, my left hip is forward, it hurts my sacroiliac, that's the problem. And so everybody gets told things about their body that are sort of obvious. It's pretty obvious. You can look at yourself in the mirror and start looking and seeing where your imbalances are. With a little bit of information, but that's all stupid stuff, what I call sort of stupid stuff, because there's key places in the body that give you your posture. They're the make or break points in your body that make your posture. So I want you all to stand up, because this is not just sitting in a lecture hall. When you're working with me, it's almost always experiential. Okay, so I want you to stand up. Forget about it, I'm not going to, I just want you to stand up right now. And I want you to just feel, just where you feel heavy in your body. Like where, as you're standing there, where do you feel your weight dropping into? Okay? And just check in with that. Okay, just where, because your posture very often is responsible for your moods, how you feel, your approach to life. And also forced posture. Okay, so a lot of people were told when they were kids, pull your shoulders back and down, so people are walking around like that with tension. Okay, so you'd never want improved posture to create additional tension and holding patterns in your body. Okay, so you got your little sense of yourself and how you stand and where your weight goes. Meaning you could have more weight into one hip because you hang out over there. Or you could feel that your whole chest drops down so that you're heavier in your lower body because that's your posture. Just, where do you feel your weight dropping to? Okay, so that's just a check-in point. Now, I want you to look down at your feet. And I want you to make a mental note about where they are. What's their position? Is one turned out? Are your feet all the way out here when you're standing? Are your feet turned out and your arches dropped in? So I just want you to take a look at that. just check in with what your feet are doing, because they're your foundation. Okay, so they are where your posture begins. So if your feet are collapsed, if your feet are splayed out, that's already the first place where posture begins. So I want you to, so you feel how you normally stand. Now I want to put you into a posture that I call the power stance. Okay, and so I recommend it to people all the time as your way of standing, so that you stay solid. Okay, so take one foot and line up that outer foot perfectly straight. Okay, keep the other foot parallel, and now just bring all your weight over to that side. Okay, stick that hip out a little bit, get all your weight there. Take a couple breaths. Exaggerate it, get that hip out there a little bit more. Breathe, just keep your weight out there. And now look down, because when all your weight is on that outer foot, the rest of your toes are up off the floor, your big toes up off the floor. And now see if you can lower your fifth toe, your fourth toe, your third toe, your second toe, your first toe. And look down at your foot and just see. It might feel really weird, but I want you to see. So your arch just lifted. You still might not have weight on your toes, but that's okay. You're solid on that outer foot. Now do that with the other foot. So try to keep hips distance apart and just bring your weight to that outer foot. Make it a straight line from your heel to your little toe. Lean over to that side. Get that hip more out to that side. Really stand on the outside. Get your weight out here. Take some breaths. Breathe. Take some breath. Let your body weight settle down here. Stick that left hip out a little bit more. Just get your weight into that outer foot. Use it. Wake it up. And now, notice that the rest of your toes are off the floor except for that little toe. The inside edge of your foot is off the floor. Now lower your fifth toe, your pinky toe, fourth toe, third toe, second toe, first toe. And look down. Build an arch. Now shift your weight back between the 2 feet, but keep both feet standing on the outside. And look and see what that did to your posture. Look and see the change in your body. See if you feel that you're standing stronger in your legs. Now what I want you to do is try to collapse down. Okay? It's pretty hard to collapse down from your hips to your feet when your feet are solid. I want you to bend your knees, and I want you to press down into those outer feet and just lift up. Okay? So, first point of posture is your feet. If your feet are collapsed, if your feet are splayed out, if your arches are collapsed, if your feet are flat, if you're hitting into bunions, into your big toe, you don't have a solid foundation to build your posture from. Okay? So if your feet aren't supporting you as solidly as they can, you can't fix your posture. Okay? So I just want you to check this out so you understand. Feel this. So really get it in your brain. How does this feel? Now just turn your feet out a little bit and just drop your ankles in and see what happens to your posture. See how your whole torso just dropped. Now bring your weight back, weight on the outsides of the feet, and see what happened. Your posture just lifted again. Okay, now turn one foot out and lean over on the other side, lean into the other foot. And what happened? The side that you lean into, your body weights down. Okay, so best practice is to stay with your feet parallel, weight on the outsides of your feet to keep you solid, to keep you stable. So, feet are number one. Now, how do you connect the feet, your powerful foundation, to the rest of the body to help pick up the rest of your body, help improve your posture in other places? So, the breath. So, I've been teaching breathing for the last 60 days, okay? So, Every morning I do it a little differently, okay? But your breath connects your foot energy all the way up your body. So I want you to drop your weight bend your knees, drop your weight into the outer foot. Now I want you to, as you inhale, I want you to push down into your feet and then lift up through your abdominal muscles. Just that. So exhale, drop your weight down into your feet, bend those knees a little bit. Now inhale, push down with your feet and lift from just above your pubic bone up to your sternum, that much. And exhale, bend your knees, come down. Do that again. Inhale, push down with your feet. Breathe and lengthen up to your sternum, where your sternum begins. And exhale, drop down, just relax there. And do it again. Inhale, push down with your feet. Get your breath involved and lift to your lower ribs. And exhale, let it go. And voila. So here you have solid in your feet. And your abdominal area just lifted up, okay, which starts to lift your chest, okay? And as you lift your chest, you lift those ribs, your shoulders start squaring off. Next part, I want you to feel for the tip of your sternum. And I want you to walk your fingers up till you feel that there's a groove, the bone sticks out a little bit. So I want you to put your fingers here. Now we're going to do that, so we're going to connect feet to breathing up to the, so here we go. So we're going to connect feet, breathe up to the sternum, and then you're going to take the fingers and you're going to lift the sternum up, trying to bring your breath up to the top of the sternum. Okay, so bend those knees. And inhale, push down with your feet. Inhale, lengthen up through the front of your body. Now feel the sternum and see if with the help of your hands you can lift that sternum up and hold it up with your hands. So one hand is just about 3 fingers up from the bottom, the other's at the top, lifting up and back. So do it again. Hold those fingers there. Bend your knees. Inhale, push down with the feet. Inhale, breathe, lengthen up through the abdomen, and try to bring the breath up to your hands. And exhale, come back down. And do that again. Inhale, push down with your feet. Bring the breath up through the abdomen. Feel your breath coming up. Use your hands to help lift the sternum. And exhale, let it go. Bend your knees. Inhale, push down with your feet. Connect to your breath, lift. Lift the whole space between your pelvis and ribs, front, back, and sides. And bring the breath up the sternum. One more. Bend your knees, let your body weight come down. Now inhale, push down with your feet. Connect your breath here, lifting up. Bring the breath up your sternum. Hold your fingers there. And exhale, let go. And just hold your fingers at the lower sternum and the top. And just take some breaths. And keep trying to lift your sternum. Don't let it drop. You've got your feet solid, your abdominal area is long, you're taking your normal breaths, you keep that sternum lifted so you can bring that head forward. So the more you stay here lifting up on that sternum, the more the head and neck just start to come backwards in your body. So for those of you that have your heads forward, this is a key to bringing the head so it stacks back over your neck and shoulders. So now, take some of your normal breaths here. I want you to feel this. I want you to first check in with your body. So your feet are keeping you solid. You just use your abdominal muscles with your breath to bring the breath up your body. You've lifted that sternum up. And your shoulders start to go naturally back and down. And your head becomes, that neck and head come right over these shoulders. Okay. Now, I want you to see this from the side. So, I want you to check in with, this is the classic aging posture in the Western world. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you're skinny, if you're normal weight, if you're overweight. What happens is, so I want you to do this, even though we've just gotten you into some really good feelings of lifted posture. Now I want you to just pull your head forward. Okay, so first just feel that. Pull that head forward. Now I want you to take that sternum and I want you to drop it down. Okay, so what I explain to people is that the sternum is like a dagger. If it drops, it's like a dagger going down into your digestive tract. So if you've got that posture, chances are you can get acid reflux, you can get esophageal problems, digestive, upper GI problems, because you've got that tip of your sternum bearing down here. Okay? So just feel that posture. It's not particularly comfortable, but it also doesn't feel so bad either. So this is sort of what the average older person begins to go into. Okay, now, I want you to stay here. Now I want you to pretend like you've got a computer screen right out in front of you. You're sitting down, and you're really focusing. And you're really focusing, and you're trying to really, you're focusing on writing in that computer. Or you're reading something, and you're studying, and your eyes are getting glued into that computer. And your head comes more and more forward. And then look where you are. Okay, so granted you're seated, but look what's happening to your head. Okay, so that's a big deal. That's what people tend to do because they get hooked in to their cell phone, their smartphone, or their computer. So that's been a huge problem. It's becoming more and more of a problem in our culture because everybody's on their computer. So I want you to just practice this. You can practice this seated, you can practice this standing. If you're tired of standing with me now, you can sit back down. But I want you to take one finger. So feel for the tip of your sternum. Take your fingers about 3 fingers width up. So that's right where the bone sticks out a little bit there. And I want you to just lift from there. Just lift your fingers up from there. And I just want you to take 5 breaths. So inhale, bring the breath up to here, exhale, keep lifting, don't let it drop. So I want you to see if when you exhale, if it drops. Don't let your ribs or the sternum drop. Inhale, bring the breath up, feel yourself being able to lift from this point, exhale, inhale. So I want you to see that when you exhale, you don't have to drop the rib cage. You don't have to drop that sternum down. So just stay here and keep feeling that your hands are lifting you up from here. Your abdominal muscles are getting longer. Exhale. No contractions in the abdomen. Inhale. Bring the breath up here. Really use your fingers to lift yourself up from here. Exhale. Now take your finger to the top of your sternum. Walk your fingers down and you'll feel that, again, the bone sticks out there. Go just below that point and lift up there. So now let's keep that breath going. So stay stable in your feet. Bend your knees. Inhale, push down with those feet. Breathe and lengthen up through the abdomen. Bring the breath up to these fingers. Just keep lifting, using your fingers to lift up there. Exhale, bend your knees. Let your weight go back down into your feet. Inhale, push down with your parallel feet. Bring your inhalation up to these 2 fingers, these 2 hands, lifting the sternum more. Exhale, come back down. Bend your knees, get your weight here. And inhale, push down. Bring the breath up the body. Use your fingers to help lift the sternum more. Feel those shoulders starting to drop back and down, relaxed. Do it again, bend your knees. Inhale, push down. Bring that inhalation up through your sternum, all the way to the top of your sternum. Use those two hands to lift you up. And exhale, bend your knees again to drop down. And inhale, connect your breath to your solid feet. Bring that breath all the way up here. And exhale, and let go. And check in with your posture. Where's your body now? Okay, see how as your sternum lifted, as you engage those abdominal muscles, the shoulders are no longer in front of your body. They just lifted by themselves. Okay, now I want you to take your hands to the back of your skull. I'm using my braid. So now, again, line up the outer foot. And now I want you to take one hand into the back of your neck. And I just want you to push the back of your neck into your hand. Keep pushing the back of your head in towards your hand with your chin down. And I want you to lift with your other hand, lift the back of your skull. But relax the shoulders. Just keep pulling the front of your neck to the back of your neck into your hand. So bend your knees again. Inhale, push down with your feet. Inhale, bring the breath up through the ribcage, through the sternum, up to the back of the neck. Let the back of your neck slide backward into your hand a little bit. Lift your skull up. Exhale, let your body weight come down. Inhale, push down with your feet. Pull the breath up through the abdomen. Bring it up through your sternum. Now, gently ease the back of your neck into your hand. Let your other hand lift the back of your skull up. Do it again. Bend your knees. Inhale, push down with your feet. Connect your inhalation up through your abdomen into your sternum. Now gently ease the back of your neck more into that hand. Keep letting the back of your neck go into that hand. And release. And stand with your feet parallel. Bring your weight back into your heels. Bring your weight to the outsides of your feet. Check in with your body. Check in with where you notice differences. Your feet you're supporting your body up. Your abdominal area, those muscles are engaging. Okay, they're not pulling in. They're just lengthening up, which then gets you to your lungs, to your rib cage, to lift your body up. Okay? Now, more to posture. So say you have this posture where your ribs are always out in front of you. And you can see that when your ribs are always out in front of you, the back ribs are locking down right into your lower back. Now, if your lower ribs are locking down into your back, I'm going to do this from the back, and now I'm going to lean to one side. Look what's going on. My back ribs are locked down. I'm leaning over to the side. I'm putting way too much weight into that right side. Okay? So, next piece for getting the posture working is the rib cage. So I want you to, let's do your right side. So I want you to inhale, and I want you to try and widen out the whole right side of your rib cage. Front ribs, side, and back. And just hold one hand in the front, widening, and one hand near the spine, and pulling the ribs out. And just stand there And I want you to breathe with the intention of widening those ribs. Not so easy at first, but as you stay there, I want you to feel. Can you feel your breath in your back hand? Can you feel your breath in the front? Exhale. See how that back rib locks in and down. Do it again. Inhale. And start to widen out those ribs again. And exhale. Do it again. Insist. Inhale and widen out those back ribs. Widen out the front ribs. And exhale. And try and not collapse down now. Do it again. Inhale and widen front, back, and side ribs. So your weight is more on that outside edge of the foot, the side you're working on. Do it again. Inhale and widen out that whole side. And exhale, release. Come back to the front. And breathe into that side, and you've got your rib cage lifted. You've got more activation of your breath into the back, so your body's just lifting and lifting more. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So take your hand to the back ribs alongside the spine. Take your other hand to the front. And lower ribs, and you're going to inhale. And begin to widen out. Widen out and up the lower ribs, front, back, and side. And exhale and empty. And do that again. Pick up the ribs. Widen them out, front, back, and side. Inhale there. Get your breath there. You're training your ribs to a new position. And exhale and empty. And do it again. Lift and widen front, back, and side ribs out. And exhale. Relax. Do it again. Pick up the ribs. Widen them out, front, back, and side. Inhale. Bring your breath there. Try to widen those ribs out more. Keep widening them out more with your breath. And exhale. Don't contract the ribs. So in your hands, feel so you're not contracting ribs. Do it again. Inhale. Widen those ribs out. Breathe there. Widen those ribs out more. And exhale. Release. Come back to the center. So let's look at this again. So line up the outer foot straight on each foot. Hips distance apart. Keep your weight on the outsides of your feet. Press all 10 toes into the floor. Inhale. Bring the breath up, so feel if you've got that, the ability to lift. Use your breath to lift your torso up. Exhale, let it go. Bring your weight back down into your feet. So you don't want those knees turning in. You don't want those arches dropping. You want the weight on the outer foot, so that's the first spot that's key for posture. Then you add solid foundation in the feet to inhale and pull the breath up. So then you become solid between your pelvis and your ribs. Then you begin to bring the breath up the ribs, so up the sternum. The sternum is key for lifting the chest and repositioning the shoulders. And then we work to widen the ribs, front, back, and side, so the whole rib cage can lift up, because it's the rib cage that we collapse. One side, the other side, drop down, okay, or come all the way out here. And then the head. So you want that head to go back, so that it's resting over, right over the spine, right over the shoulders. So just hold the back of your head, and let's do that all. Let's put it all together. Keep that chin in towards your chest. So here's the thing, as people get older and they start getting more wrinkles, what they do is they start walking around like that. And they start talking more like that. So the posture gets like that. Women particularly start to do this. So the ribs drop down, the chin lifts so that they've got beautiful fronts of their neck, but all of this locks down, okay? So when people come, and this is their posture, and they have a neck problem, We're always explaining because the chin is actually positioned in neutral, okay? Not all the way down. When we say all the way down, it's because we're trying to lengthen your cervical spine, okay? So as you lengthen your cervical spine, so by lifting up at the base of your skull and taking your front hand just above your collarbones and just gently easing your body weight backwards, that puts you more in neutral. Okay, so from that position, bend, keep your feet parallel on the outsides of your feet, ground all 10 toes down, bend your knees. Inhale, connect your feet to your breath, bring the breath up the abdomen, bring it up the sternum, bring it up through the ribs. Now gently ease the back of your neck backwards. Ease it backwards so you can feel it with your other hand. You can feel it's lining up with the thoracic vertebrae. Exhale, bend your knees a little bit. Get some body weight into the feet. Inhale, push down. Continue that inhalation up. Bring the breath into the backside front ribs, up the sternum, and up into the back of the neck. Ease the back of the head backwards and lower your hands. And stand and feel your body. Feel your body standing more upright. Feel your head and neck freer. Feel your body breathing more. So I hope that was illuminating for you for thinking about your posture, the places that are key for building posture. Thank you. Any comments? If you want to write in, if you have any questions, just write in. Thank you.